Hi! For those of you that only follow me on YouTube, I owe you a quick explanation as to why I've missed the last couple of days of Dinovember. So, I have been in Riverside, California the last couple of days attending what is basically like a college and university event conference because I'm advertising for myself both as a science communicator and as a professional magician. So if you stick around to the end of the video, I will try to make it up to you by showing you a quick magic trick. And also, if you are a student or if you are in any way involved with a college or university and you'd like me to come and speak or do a magic show, the link will be in the comment or the description down below to my website where you can send my information to whoever it may concern. But anyway, I have two videos for you today. So one, to make up the Dinovember Day video that I missed yesterday and the day before, and then as an extra bonus to try to help make that up, an amazing new discovery in the world of paleontology that is not related to dinosaurs, but that I got to collaborate with a friend of mine who is a cave paleontologist to film this video. So we'll get there in a minute, but first, your regularly scheduled Dinovember programming.
I just learned one of the coolest dinosaur names I've ever seen. Somebody recently commented asking for a video about Vallibonavenatrix. Like, are you kidding me? The name basically means huntress from Vallibona, and the dinosaur itself is a Spinosaurid from Spain. And there's actually a handful of Spinosaurid dinosaurs from Spain and Portugal in the early Cretaceous, and Vallibonavenatrix seems to have shared its exact time and place with another Spinosaurid called Protothlidis, which is one of the worst sounding dinosaur names I think I've ever heard. Protothlidis. Look, in complete fairness, it's probably just me that is completely butchering what is essentially just the Greek word for champion. But look, if the English pronunciation of this dinosaur's name is supposed to be anything like Protothlidis. Ugh. Anyway, so there were two Spinosaurids living at the same time and place together, but interestingly, each is from one of the two different groups that Spinosauridae is subdivided into. Well, you know, maybe. So traditionally, the group of dinosaurs called Spinosauridae has been subdivided into two main groups, the first being Spinosaurinae, whose members tend to be from Africa and South America, and the other being Baryonychinae, whose members tend to be from Europe and Asia. And originally, Vallibonavenatrix was recovered as being a Spinosaurian, as being less closely related to its fellow Europeans, and more closely related to Spinosaurids from Africa, but also one from Asia. And if all that's true, then it implies there's probably some biogeographical patterns about Spinosaurids that we do not understand very well yet, and also that there was probably some contact between animal populations across those continents, at least by the time Vallibonavenatrix was around. But all of that is a big if, because a later study concluded that Vallibonavenatrix was either a Baryonychine, or that it's a representative from an even earlier branching lineage of Spinosaurids that was outside of Spinosaurinae or Baryonychinae altogether. So, who knows? The Spinosaurids are one of the most unique groups of dinosaurs and also one of the least well understood, partly because just of the fragmentary nature of a lot of their remains, and partly because we don't have any super early representatives from the group, ones that aren't, like, already very clearly Spinosaurids. Also, just to get y'all excited about something, there was a talk given at this year's Society of Vertebrate Paleontology conference about a new discovery about Spinosaurus itself that's pretty amazing. Now, of course, I cannot tell you anything about this until the paper comes out, but the lead author on the study did post this in his public Instagram page as a sort of hint, so make of this pumpkin what you will. And of course, don't forget to comment what dinosaurs you'd like me to talk about on future episodes of Dinovember.
Oh my god, my friend just sent me easily one of the coolest scientific discoveries I've seen in a while. Warren, what is this?
That little dude's a Sabertooth Cat cub. He was recovered from Yakutia, Russia by a team of scientists. And get this, it's almost 32,000 years old!
Yeah, or 32,000 years dead, depending on how you look at it. Because unfortunately, this cub of a Homotherium was only about 3 weeks old when it died. But it's making scientific history now because it's the first mummy of any kind of saber-toothed cat we've ever found. Actually, even better than that, it's the first mummified mammal of any kind that we've found that doesn't have like a clear modern-day living version of, because we don't got saber-toothed cats anymore.
So sure, we have the big modern stars like lions and tigers, but those are less closely related to this baby Homotherium than you'd think. So all cats today are in the family Felidae, but our new, old champion is in a completely different subfamily called Machaerodontidae, along with such illustrious company as the famous Smilodon.
And that means we've been wondering what saber-toothed cats would have looked like externally and in real life for a long time. And of course, it's not like we have no idea. We just have to be a little bit more creative, right? So studies like this, for example, have taken a careful look at the bones of Homotherium and compared them to modern day big cats to try to work out, say, what the musculature of the saber-tooth would have looked like. In other words, doing a myological reconstruction.
And actually, with specific reference to studies like that one, the authors of the Cub paper say that their find confirms a lot of what those earlier studies found, like having absolutely massive neck muscles. You gotta be able to use those big teeth. Our only known Homotherium kit came from the Freinsenhan cave. So as a cave-obsessed paleo nerd, it's awesome to see that the science of really, really educated guesses that we call paleontology was on the right track with this little dude.
Yes, this is such an amazing illustration of the fact that science works. It's so cool that we can do thorough investigations using the knowledge and the data that we have, and then sometimes we'll find new evidence from other different sources that will match what we already thought we knew. Now, in fairness, that particular process doesn't often happen quite so obviously in paleontology, because it's not like we can do all of our reconstruction work and then just check our work by looking at the real thing. But this is one of those rare cases where a beautifully preserved saber-toothed cat cub can play some small role in proving that paleontologists do in fact know what they're doing.
They're so well preserved that there's actually pads on the feet of the little dudes.
Oh, sorry to interrupt. Yes, we do have their preserved foot pads, but the preservation also shows that they did not have carpal pads, which I had never heard of until I looked it up, but it turned out that it's these things, like the little weird knobby thing on your pet dog or cat, and it turns out Homotherium did not have those.
Yes, and actually, the authors mentioned that lacking carpal pads and its really small ears are both adaptations for living in a cold environment, which tells us a lot about how, where, and when it lived.
Nice. Okay, yeah, so presumably both the small ears and the lack of carpal pads would be an adaptation to decrease exposed surface area of skin to decrease heat loss, because just like mammoths had really small ears living in a cold climate, compare that to modern day African elephants. Very warm climate where they live and very big surface area on their ears in order to get rid of excess heat.
And that's not the only cold climate adaptation this cub shows. Its feet are basically circles when compared to modern cat feet, which help like snowshoes to help them when walking in deep snow. Not only that, but he's got really long chin hairs, so I have no evidence, but I really like to think that he just had a massive beard when he got older and looked awesome.
Yes, absolutely. You know what, actually, to borrow a phrase from our friend Astrid, that is going to be my new emotional support unsubstantiated hypothesis, for sure.
And hey, Milo,
Yeah.
It's been a minute since the last conference. I know you're at one right now.
Indeed.
But how about a virtual high five for old time's sake? Ready?
Sure, let's try.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, yeah. Well, I appreciate the enthusiasm. Good to see you. Please don't die in a cave.
All right, now for those of you that stuck around, I promised you a magic trick, so let's do it. In this case, I'm going to need the help of one of the jokers. So let's see if I can just find that. I think it should be right about here. In this case, this joker's just a little star. We're gonna use that in a moment. Now, if you were here, obviously I'd let you pick out a playing card for us. In this case, it happens to be the 3 of spades. It's okay if I know what the card is for this trick, because the joker is gonna do all the work for me. Here's what I mean. We will give the deck a quick shuffle and some quick cutting as well, just like we did before. And now I'm gonna let the joker just sort of use its intuition. I'll just throw it wherever it desires to go in the middle of the pack, somewhere completely random, perhaps. But of course, this joker is going to land on top of one card. I'm hoping that it's gonna be the 3 of spades. Thanks for watching. Now leave a comment about what dinosaur you want me to talk about next.